After winning 3 games out of 3 in the group stages of the Premier Intermediate Football Championship, Bantry Blues are now in a semi-final against Iveleary at the weekend. And joining me on the podcast here is Arthur Coakley, the Bantry Blues selector, to talk about their aspirations for this weekend's game. I suppose first of all, Arthur, how we set for this weekend? Like, it's a big game for Bantry.
Yeah, it is, Matthew. Yeah, we're good. The lads are all in. You know, we're good. We're looking forward to the game, and really, every fella's in good. Next couple of injuries that just clearing up, but look, there's full selection there, so we're in a good place.
Was the aim really at the start of the year to go straight back up because you recently got relegated last season? So that would have been a main aim, I could imagine.
Yeah, it would really just to steady the ship again and see. Look, I suppose. I suppose after last year, I suppose to say that we were going to go straight back up would be too much of an ask. Really, we just had to see how the season went on, how it progressed. We were concentrating a lot in the league. We had a different team. Basically, we have 7 new players that we didn't have last year. So, look, that's what we were doing. Really, just looking forward to the next game, Matthew. That's really what we were at. So that we didn't see silverware, or as just to establish ourselves again and try and move forward from that.
Winning 3 games out of 3 in the group stages, are you impressed with how the lads recovered in a way? Because it was some recovery, apparently.
Yeah, well, I suppose look, um, Bantry Blues. I suppose we've been lucky and unlucky. I think consistency is our problem there, Matthew. Over the years, we can always seem to play very well, maybe 1 or 2 games, and then struggle and all. So that's our problem. And all along there, even last couple of years, there's only a point or two in between the defeats, and really, I suppose we were unlucky some years. 3 years ago, we were against Aerogue in a semi-final there in Clonakilty. Look, we had a good lead and we left it slip. And look, Aerogue gone up playing senior now there, like, and we're back down and Premier Intermediate. So, but like, no, I suppose we have a bit of quality. Only maybe just find a bit of consistency is what we're really after.
And just seeing Aerogue in Premier Senior at the moment, Mallow, another team that have been in Senior A for years as well. Like, seeing those teams compete in Premier Senior against the likes of the Haven, Nemo Rangers, and the Bars, does that give you a bit of motivation to try and push on?
Yeah, I suppose look, you do you like to make it up to the top, like, and any of the teams that are in the Premier Intermediate. I mean, like, they do struggle when they get up if they can make it up that far. There's a big jump from Premier Intermediate to playing Premier Senior football. You need a good club structure. You need a lot of players of a certain age as well too. Like, whereas we'd have younger lads playing now. You need a certain physique as well there. I was at the Carberry game there watching Ballincollig playing there, and Ballincollig had a good kind of physique. They're big men. They're a good age, in fairness, and I think that was the difference between Carberry and Ballincollig. So that's what I would get from that senior. The same at the Haven. They're all well built lads, well able to move. And I suppose some of the rural teams we don't have that kind of. Maybe it's a shortage of work or something like that. But like, certainly in our team, we probably don't have it yet. No, and I don't know whether we'll ever have it. But look, we try and play the game as fast as we can to make up for it.
And winning 3 games out of 3 in the group, like, it's some achievement to do that, especially the group with Ada, Castlehaven-St well, the Páirc were kind of a bit off, but looking at the other 2 sides, you described the Castlehaven-St game as a battle of the Bay, and it certainly was that game, and Ada are decent side themselves. So to come out with a 100% record, you have to be pleased with the players' performance there.
Oh, 100%. Like, I mean, sure, we never really looked beyond the first game against Ada because, look, Ada were going well, and they're a good footballing outfit. So we never really looked beyond that game. And I suppose if we did well in that, then, well, the season would open up for us. Then, like Castlehaven-St, we were missing our half back line that day against Castlehaven-St, and it was a bit of a war down there in the sweltering heat. And they'd probably say we were lucky to get away, and they maybe deserved a draw. But look, that's another thing. But no, I just felt that to win the 3, look, we've never been in that territory for a long time. So it is great.
And out of the 3 games, I know they were all wins, but what performance impressed you the most?
I suppose if you look back, I suppose after being relegated last year, I suppose you'd have to say like what kind of team was going to turn up for the Ahdy game. That was our first game, championship game. Um, and I suppose we were impressive in that they took a lead late in the game and we came back and we put them away, and there's, I suppose you'd have to be impressed with that. Maybe that was something we couldn't do before. But look, the one in down in Adrigole against Castlehaven-St Finbarr, make no mistake, that's a local derby for us, and that was winner takes all there. Like so, I mean, I was really impressed with that. If you asked me to start the year which game you'd like to win, it was the one below in Adrigole against Castlehaven-St Finbarr. But look, the one we had to do well against was Ada, so I suppose we were most impressed with that one.
And then look at the last game against the PSFC. Obviously, won that game in the end, but were you kind of disappointed with how the performance went?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was a disaster of a game for us. And look, it was I don't know. There was a stop start. There was no rhythm to that game, and there was more stoppages than there was football played. And I don't know. Look, that's best forget that form there because really we never got going, couldn't get going or get it. You know. And it just that game just quinched away. It was look compared to the other two games. Maybe it was that the Piercing or had one eye in the hurling or whatever, or maybe our lads had kind of figured that we were qualified anyway. So you get those games sometimes they're like that. So it's hard to get going in them. But look, that we've forgotten about that now, and we'll move on.
And you definitely move on to the semi-final against Iveleary. Like it's a difficult game for you. Like their team synonymous for scoring a lot of goals in championship campaigns, and they did so at the quarter final as well in their win. So yeah, it's going to be a big challenge.
Yeah, it is, Matthew. We were up in Bantry looking at that game against Rockchapel. Now, having said that, Rockchapel were very unlucky not to get a goal at the start of that game, and hard. Rockchapel are a hard working team. There's very few teams work as hard, as Rockchapel. But like they are a dangerous, Iveleary, a dangerous group. They play a lovely brand of football. They defend in numbers. They try and move the ball quickly. Kick, putting it through the boot. Up into the forward line. They have some excellent forwards there. The two Joneses. Cahill Vaughan, sure, geez, he was kicking points there like he's some, athlete. And Sean O'Leary out in the middle of the field there. We have a Sean O'Leary in our squad as well, so there'll be the battle of the two Sean O'Learys. But no, he was excellent. His link play was brilliant as well. But no, they're very balanced, and you could see that they're a team that have played together and won together. And I would think that they're justifiably the hot favourites, I suppose.
Would you say they're the hot favourites for this game, especially after your side winning 3 out of 3?
Yeah, no, I'd say they would. Yeah, I think everyone knows going to leave it to the other three would be the hot favourites we'd be well in the long grass there, Matthew. There, they wouldn't know an awful lot about us, but you wouldn't write us off either. We'll be coming with a plan, and if we execute it, we're going to be hard to beat too.
And you spoke about the other side of the draw as well. I think it's Kildamattra against Cantor. Cantor on the other side, they've won 3 out of 3 as well. So this is a tough championship to win.
Oh, it certainly is, Matthew. Like you have Cantor there, right? I suppose. Look, they're a big, rangy team. I suppose Kildamattra will give them everything too. Like they're going to fight. Like there's it'll be very interesting. Who's going to come out the other side. I suppose. Look, Cantor are favourites. There's no question about Cantor favourites. But I'd say maybe there's no one looking at us, and that suits us fine. That's really where we want to be in the long grass. Yeah.
And sure, you mentioned the Carver game a few weeks ago against Ballincollig. I was at that game as well, and yeah, I think you had 3 players in the Carby panel. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, but Rory Dean was one as well. He was an outstanding player for Carberry that day, scoring 1-4. Like, how have they reacted to that defeat? Have they come back into training with a bit of a bounce after playing Premier Senior football?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like Rory's our captain this year, like, and he's really, he's really playing good football. He's played good football all year with Carberry and with us as well too. Like, so we expect him to lead the line, and he's a hugely experienced player. Like, so we're, the other lads as well. They all came out of the Carberry experience, and none of them have injuries there. So look, we're good there, as well. So look, we're just really looking forward to it, and if we have a bit of luck, whoever can take their scores, take their chances, is going to win on Saturday. That's about the high up and low down of it.
And I suppose look at where Carbery were playing in the Premier Senior Football Championship, and then the other sides are from divisions like Duhallow and Muskerry, and they didn't get to play the Premier Senior against a side like Ballincollig. So would that be a positive that them players have come back playing better opposition, higher opposition in a way?
Well, I suppose the big thing with Carberry there, if you get a run with Carberry, like for all the players, especially, I mean, I suppose, look, we're playing at a high enough level there, but I know that Junior has there's some cracking young players in the Carberry setup, and it's a huge experience for them to go through that. And if any division side win a game, you've got a bit of momentum, and that's what they had this year. So it was a fantastic experience, I suppose when you finish the division size of it, you the side of it you actually, I suppose, you're playing the proper senior teams, as you said, in the club teams, and they're hard to beat, and I suppose, look, at hopefully Carberry could come back and build on that next year now and get another good run going, and they'll have that bit of extra experience to get them across the line, then maybe go a bit further, so it'll be great.
And what would it mean for the people of Bantry to win this championship, to get back up to Senior A, where really Bantry should be, to be honest with you? And yeah, it'd be a brilliant championship to win if you could do it.
Oh, it would be super. Sure, we haven't won a trophy in adult football with 24 years. We were, I suppose, we're hungry for it. We wanted. I mean, 24 years ago, some of our panel weren't even born. So there was 4 or 5 lads that weren't even born. Then when we won the county last. So, but it would be huge for the club because we're a great club. Like, clubs have to struggle sometimes, and kind of it's like a famine there, and you don't get success. But look, we are hungry for it. Look, we try things. We have a new manager in. We have David O'Donovan there from St Mary's. He came in this year now and kind of looked at things differently, has a different approach, and it's a bit of maybe it's what we needed really. You need to get a different set of eyes on it, and he's been fantastic, and the players really respect him and work hard for him. So we're hoping that he'll get something out of it as well. But look, the club would love it. We'd love to have it there in the park, but we never look beyond the next game. So to be quite honest with you, Matthew, the next game is on Friday or Saturday at 4 o'clock. So we're just all going through that. We're not even looking over the ditch at what could happen next. So everything will be focused on Saturday at 4. So hopefully at 5:30, that'll be another interview for you.
Hopefully so. And not winning a trophy for 24 years, would that give the players an extra motivation to try and win the Premier Intermediate Football Championship?
Yeah, well, I suppose, Matthew, they're trying every year, but I suppose, we're very rural down here. Like, I know everyone says we're a big town and we should be doing more and things. We're doing what we can with the commitment we have with the players we have. Like, we don't have the job zone in Bantry. I mean, I was just noticing in Ballincollig there, all their players are probably based inside the city. They can pretty much walk to the pitch. We don't have that. We have fellas above in Cork, working Dublin. We haven't been Dublin. We have some lads that are gone abroad, the same as every other rural club. But it is difficult. Like, I mean, we used to train in Clodagh up to before COVID there. Every year we trained in Clodagh because we had only 3 or 4 players back in Bantry, and most of them were in college and working in Cork. So that's the kind of pressure. So we are, as a club, working as hard as we can. But I suppose, look, you need a bit of luck, and you need some of the younger players are after maturing now, and I think we can progress maybe a bit further. That's providing we need a bit of luck. We don't have a huge panel, but look, what we have is good.
And Bantry are in action on Saturday at 4 o'clock, as Arthur just mentioned there, against Iveleary. Should be a very, very interesting semi-final. Thank you, Arthur, for coming on to the podcast today. Wish you the best of luck on Saturday, and the West Corkies behind Bantry Blues.